Hello everybody. Today, look, wearing fancy clothes, but I didn't put my makeup on yet. Okay, but today, my name is Dr. Cheryl Meier. Today, we're talking about coming home to your real self. It just came to me what coming home actually meant, because I'm like, what are we talking about? What's the subject for today? I asked divine love, and I want something higher to direct me, and so, oh, look at how pretty it is today. Look at how big that tree is. So when I do stuff like that's I didn't know too. It's a cue for us to just be really present. We have the opportunity within my videos, don't worry about, oh, this is 15 minutes. I don't have 15 minutes, or whatever it is. When I say, oh, look up at that bird. Look at the tree. Look at the sun. It's an opportunity for you to be present where you are. Be present where you are. Because this is a skill. This is a skill to practice. This is a skill that's so important, and you have no idea how important it is. So, I wrote on the back of this, come home to me. And I thought that was God saying, divine love saying, come home to me. But divine love is here. It says, the kingdom of God is within. Now, let's go back before I get too woo-woo for some people, right? So I'm a psychologist. I have been for over 20 years. And so the psyche is your soul, and ology is the study of it. And so I've always thought of it as the study of your soul, right? And so we have this opportunity to know ourselves on a deeper level. I never liked superficial relationships, Why have those? When you can have deep, true friendships, people that are loving, that stick around, that last, that... I read something yesterday. I was writing at my journal. It was saying how a person treats you is how they treat themselves. So if they ghost you and abandon you and walk away from you and keep choosing things that are less than you, then it's how they're treating themselves. They don't know yet how to treat themselves better. And so, not to take it personally, but if you keep defining yourself by them, then you're choosing something less than coming home to your real self. And I keep being reminded right now, two things, right? I was hearing the song a little earlier when I was thinking about this. It's just Simon and Garfunkel. They sing a song, it goes, homeward bound, I wish I was homeward bound, home. Where my thoughts escape me. It's awesome because you're out of your mind. I'm teaching about mindfulness all the time, which is not mindfulness, it's mindlessness. But it's not mindlessness. It's coming to a deeper part of your consciousness. This deeper part where my thoughts escape me, where my music's playing, like the music comes from up above, comes from the divine. Where my love life is waiting silently for me. That's what this home is. This home within yourself. When Jesus said, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness just means his right wayness. And I don't even know if it's his, it's auto. That means his, her, it, that. Seek first the reign of divine love, okay? Divine love. Don't worry about verses. I always welcome all religions. I have so many friends of different faiths and stuff. I just want us to know, and to me it's conveyed through how I learned it. And so look at the bigger picture. If you're coming from a different faith practice, look from the bigger perspective. And if you come from my faith practice, then understand that divine love, God is wanting you to know this on such a deeper and more profound level than you ever knew before. I know that because I grew up with this, and I was like, why did I never know this before, right? And so seek first the reign of divine love. Let love reign. Let true love, not seeking after temporary things that keep leaving us heartbroken and empty and, I'm like cuddled for the moment, like just held for the moment, but then another broken heart, another, and there's nothing wrong with being held. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not putting that down. God invites us, divine love invites us to be deep in presence. And then all of our pains in the temporary will be taken care of. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things, all these other things, the things that you're so attached to in your heart and your mind, they'll be taken care of, all these things shall be added to you, the love that you want, the end of loneliness. It's a little alone. That's a different beautiful song. It's worth looking up. It's called The Waters of March. I was just practicing it yesterday. A stick, a stone, it's the end of the road. It's a little alone. Anyway, all of these songs are talking to us about how to return to your true home. This is what I'm getting at, right? At the end of The Wizard of Oz, Dorothy says, there's no place like home, And I have that. I have a recording of that on my YouTube as Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It's really sweet. Especially if we just prayed for someone who just passed away. If you know someone that passed away or you're grieving about that song really is healing to your heart. That's why I put it out. I didn't know that's why I did, but that's one of the reasons for it. But anyway. So come home. What if someone you loved, you loved so much was like, just come home already. I'll let you home, and you got kicked out for whatever reason. And it's just like, or the prodigal son, he was eating with the pigs and he was just like, what am I doing? Or he wanted to eat what the pigs were eating. He was feeding them. He's feeding them with his vital energy. You only have enough vital energy in each day. And I know this from my own heartbreaks and feeding addictions. When we feed addictions, we're giving away our vital energy. And it's just like, we've stooped so low, and it's making us so much slaves to our addictions that I hope you know the story of the son who's one with the king, let's say, he's the son of the king or the daughter of the king, right? And he or she says, I want to go out, give me half my money. I want to take my money and go spend it the way I want to spend it. And so he goes to the earth, let's say, and he goes out and parties with his friends, and all his friends or her friends party with her until she starts running out of money. And then they're like, what? You don't have any worth to us anymore because, we liked you when you had your money, when we were all high with you, but not anymore. What have you done for us lately? And so the person was so destitute and rejected and so caught up in all of that it's called the prodigal son, but that's how Jesus told it. And because the son in the old days, it was the heir, and so they got to inherit everything. And so even if Jesus was just showing it as a son so that he could show us that when we come back. And so finally the son, gets this job feeding pigs, right? And pigs in ancient Judaism, in Israel, they were taught to be the unclean animals. They would sacrifice pigs to other gods and stuff. The other religions would. They were just unclean for whatever reason. And so I was reading in a commentary from the 1000s, 1000 or 1100s around then, that said the swine, do not cast your pearls before swine. That represents people who call themselves believers but are living in uncleanness, like are caught up in that, It's not to judge, it's just to say they're caught up in that, just like the prodigal son was. And he remembered, it says he came to himself when he was like craving to eat the food that he was giving to the pigs, but he would be fired if he ate their food, And he's just like, even the servants in my father's house are eating way better than this. I want to go return to my father, right? And so he leaves and he starts walking back to his father's house and thinking in his head, how am I going to say, I'm so sorry, I was so foolish. I was in the kingdom with you. And he's walking towards his father, and his father runs to him. His father had been looking out for him, And God was reminding me yesterday, right? He's just like, girl, you got to watch what the father does in that picture. This is how God talks to me, right? He's like, you don't run to them while they're still eating the pig's food or wanting to eat that and messing around with all that. Otherwise, you eat the pig's food with them. The father is looking out. And when the son or the daughter turns around, comes to our senses, and God will call us to that. God will call us because we're smart in us, like in your deep heart, the heart of your hearts. And when you choose to like die to yourself, because there's nothing else there except the addictions, and come back to the oneness, this wholeness, you come back home. Then we turn around and the father, the mother is looking for us. And the father in those days, like, the gird up, like the skirt that I have, you have to like pick it all up and run, gird up your loins. He ran to his son and he was looking for him. He ran to his daughter. I was friends with this guy, Charlie Mackesy, a long time ago, 20 years ago. I mean, we're still friends on Facebook, but anyway, he had this picture of the prodigal's daughter and the prodigal son. And on his prodigal son picture, he had in the background, Christ be with me, Christ within me, Christ above me, Christ beneath me, Christ beside me, Christ to win me. It's an old 300, it's from the 300s AD. I encourage you to look it up. I think I read it. I do. I think I read it on my YouTube. Always go over there. There's so much more there. I encourage you to subscribe there. But that's called St. Patrick's breastplate. It's called a shield prayer. And anything you're going through, that's like a shield prayer. And so I see it in the background of he had a cross with that. And I don't know, he had the prodigal son on one. Maybe that was behind that one. I don't know if there was a cross, but it's the father holding the son. And he did one with the father holding the daughter, the daughter that comes back. And when he comes back, it says they have a party for the son, the daughter, He's like, I have sinned against heaven and against you, God, I see that I wasted the resources you gave me. I threw them away trying to run after just pleasures in this world, which that's what we do until we know better, That's why Jesus is on the cross saying, forgive them. They know not what they're doing, We can keep running after like better and better mental health. And, if that's our end, then we're going to keep getting our heart broken because there's more. There's even more. There's this deep presence in the home inside of you. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. And the kingdom of God is within. It's within. He killed a calf, which, if you're vegetarian, don't worry about that. It's symbolic as well. He gave him a ring, like a ring that symbolized you will eternally be mine now. And so the son is like, please forgive me, let me be a servant. And he's like, no, I'm bringing you back as my son, as my daughter. You're restored. I restore you. That's back to paradise. The thief on the cross next to Christ said, remember me when you go to your kingdom. Like, forgive me, remember me, don't forget me. And he says, today you will be with me in paradise. That's right now. when we come to our senses and we see that the scraps, the bread that we're thinking about in God's house is so much better than the scraps we're running after that keep us empty here. The scraps in our home, when we go back into our heart, will fill us so much more than anything out there that we were running to. It's all about you're worth more. You're worth more. You were always worth more. But no one can make you choose this. And our mind is like, no, I'm going to find another solution here. And I was thinking, okay, I got to go back for my meeting, but I wanted to share it with you guys, okay? Is like, and I hope this woke up something deep in you. See it from the higher perspective, what the story is teaching us. Okay, but so I was watching a Fringe episode, Fringe, right? And I think it was just before I left, right? I had to pause it because I wanted to go. I had to go somewhere, but then I went roller skating after that. And in the Fringe episode, Olivia couldn't be rescued unless Peter had to take this drug that he was in a lab. He was in a lab, but he was entering her brain by these sci-fi means or whatever. It was by J.J. Abrams, but the only way he could save Olivia was to shut down the logical functioning in his brain and just be in the artistic side, because the logical side kept interfering. And if you've seen any of my videos about drawings, then you can know that what I'm talking about, right? But I went and I was skating and I fell on my head and it busted open and I got stitches and all this stuff and I got a concussion. And that was like a little over a week ago. And so the videos I've been making, if you see, I've been like forgetting names of like Whirlpool and stuff like that. You know, I couldn't remember things. And so I was asking God, and then I went back a couple days later to the Fringe episode and I was like, wow, you know, even that, what if someone meant that for bad, let's say, you know, not someone, but there are forces in this world or whatever, or I wasn't meant to be skating, or I don't know, I was being reckless. I wasn't trying to be, but whatever it was, God will use for good whatever we're doing and will bring us to a higher place, even if it's just a time where it's like, well, maybe my logical brain was meant to be slowed down so I could just be deeper in presence. You know, just really simple. And I found so many profound truths in that. I wish you so much love. I gotta go. Share this and like it and comment if you'd like to. That's how you can give back, and live this is the most way you can give back. Much love.